Alright, what's going on? So before this video starts, I want to say, I know select people don't represent a whole country or a whole city. I've met many a nice people, many a nice paisa people here in Medellín, but I'm not going to act like I haven't had some sketchy experiences today. So, when I got in a taxi, before I got in a taxi, we agreed the price to go out to pay. And I wasn't going to budge on that price, because if we agree on a price, that's what it is. So like 10 minutes into the trip, this taxi driver shows me a picture of a tariff, which is more expensive than the price agreed. I'm like, no. And he doesn't speak English, but I was like, no, we agreed. No more. It's there or aquí para zero. And we were in a dangerous area at the time and everything. After some arguments, we were cool. Yeah, we were on the way to Guatapé. Now the rain was extremely heavy, plus we were stuck in traffic as a pedestrian had died. This taxi driver is saying, more mas. I'm saying, this is no mi problem. No mi problema. And I just knew if we'd continued to wait to go out to pay, I wouldn't have gave him it, but there would have been a problem. So I'm like, you know what? I'm looking at the weather. I'm thinking, forget this. Look, I'll go home. So by the way, when I was in my hotel, I was wearing my chain. So I get into the taxi with my chain on. And then when we get in, because my window's open, when we get into a more dangerous area than a grocer, when we get into more dangerous area, I have this particular zip pocket in my bag. I put the chain in, I zip it up, and I see him like side-eye me. I see him side-eye. So later on, we both stop for a bite to eat on the way back from I didn't get to Guatapé, but on the way back to Medellín, we stopped to get some food, and I went to the toilet. When I was on the toilet, I was thinking, right, I wonder if this guy's gonna go and get that chain. Anyway, that thought disappeared from my mind. I got some food and we started heading back. About 20 minutes later, I remembered to check. So I opened this zip pocket, put my hand in. There's no chain there. And I'm like, hey, we are not gonna have a problem. Where is my chain? You pass it to me, no problem. He couldn't understand it, but he understood. I was like, chain, pass it, no problem. Oh, mi telephone policia. Now that probably wouldn't have went well for me, but like, I'm trying to get my chain, you know? He's like, I have no seat. I'm thinking, I'm gonna get this chain. It's in this car somewhere. If not, we're gonna have a problem. Whatever the consequence, you know? So he goes, oh, there it is. Well, he didn't, I assume that's what he said in Spanish. He lifts up the, what do you call it? He opens the floor. He lifts up the floor mat. There's my chain. He's like, it fell. Oh, that's what I assume he said in Spanish. I just thought, right, I'm gonna get my chain and I'm gonna play this off cool. I was like, oh, amigo, no problem. Pardon. But in reality, I feel as if he put it there on purpose. Because as soon as I started getting a bit aggressive, he lifted it up. So there's a chance that didn't happen. There's a chance he didn't do that. There's a chance he did do that. Anyway, I got my chain. I paid him the right amount. I did also pay the tariffs, but it is what it is. And this guy's like bothering me, like, so you're going to Guatapé tomorrow? In the end, I'm just like, yeah, man. I get your WhatsApp. See, I'm like being friendly with him. Okay, Felipe, that's cool. I'll message you later. I got out the taxi today. I said, mensajito para mañana. But I'm only gonna get Ubers out here from now on. Well, not necessarily, but because it was to Guatapé, I'd only get an Uber to Guatapé or somewhere outside the city. It would be foolish not to. And also, on the way back, there was a traffic jam. Now I'm looking in my rear view mirror and two guys hop off on bikes. This is not the car behind me, but the car behind that. That's how close they were. So they pull up on the motorbike. One of them grabs this rock, stone, somewhere between a rock and a brick. I think it was cement, so a brick, and starts like. Luckily, he started walking the other way, looking for someone to rob. Like literally, this was in a traffic jam, so there's not much anybody could have done. And to be honest, he probably did rob somebody there and then. But I'm just thinking, if they'd have spotted me, being a white guy, being a foreigner even, I know people will get offended at that, but being a foreigner, I would have been targeted there. And not the guy with the brick, but the other one riding the bike started walking towards my direction. He was looking in like the car, because there was only two cars, so he looked in the car in front of me. He was slowly walking towards my car before the traffic jam kind of slowed. I'm saying to my taxi driver, go, go, go. But my taxi driver's being nosy. He's like looking, I'm like, fucking go. Anyway, I just missed out on that. About a minute down the road, there was two policemen, and there'd been about 7 motorcyclists stopped to tell them what had happened. Because, you know, everybody was watching this take place. And what I can say is, the majority of Paisa people hate thieves and robbers, and anybody giving Medellín or Colombia a bad name. And if anybody's watching this from Medellín or Colombia, like, I love this place. I've wanted to come here for years. I would come here again. And I know you're not to blame for this, like, as a collective. You've also got to look at the bigger picture, you know. A lot of people here with nothing. They don't have the situation that I had growing up, you know. I'm very privileged. Like, I'll tell you something about English people. Young English people in general have a hate for England. And I understand their perspective on that. But the thing is, the opportunity somebody has from simply being born in England is very different to the opportunity somebody being born here has. And why do you think a lot of immigrants become successful in England? Because they don't have the same opportunity in their own country. So they come to England and boom, they don't want no designer, they don't want to eat out anywhere. They come, they get a job, taxi driver for instance, they save that dough. Before you know it, they've got their own like food store, they've got their own corner shop, they've got their own restaurant, they've got their own petrol station, Subway franchise. That's my opinion, and I understand criticisms of the Tories, of the English government, what we're spending money on, what we're not spending money on. I totally understand that. I couldn't tell you one politician in England that I love. All I know is there's a lot of opportunity there compared to over here, and I've seen a lot of poverty. As long as like you want to come here, stay in the El Poblado area, you're gonna be fine here. Like my friend Quayne, he's been here 5 times, no problem. I felt safer on the metro here than in France, than in London. Felt safe on Comuna Treze. No, I know I was only in 2 areas of Comuna Treze, but I did feel safe there, even though there was poverty. But I just wanted to share that experience with you guys, and I assure you today is a one-off for my trip. By the time this is up, I will have been out of here, just so that people are feeling, just so that my family won't see this and feel too panicked. But yeah, I have seen some madness today. I've met many a nice Colombian, and I really didn't want to paint this place in a bad light. But that taxi driver was pushing his luck today. thought I was vulnerable, and something I'm not is vulnerable. And I'm just thankful that the guy with the rock didn't rob me. With that being said, I've got some great videos coming your way. Hit subscribe and feel free to give me a follow.